Hi everyone, this is Tommy here. So, you may remember parts 1 and 2 of my PS2 games collection. I do, but all I have to say is that the PlayStation 2 era was my favourite era of video games, next to the PlayStation 1 and Nintendo 64 era, and the Super Nintendo era. So anyways, I'm going to show you my games that are on part 3. So, enjoy! So the first game from my PS2 games collection that are on part 3 was Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 4. This game came out a year after Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 3. Here's the front, there's the side, there's the back. There's the manual and the disc. And here's the ad for Sean Murray's Snow Pro Wakeboarder, and Kelly Slater's Pro Surfer, and Matt Hoffman's Pro BMX2. This game has got the demo of Sean Murray's Pro Wakeboarder in it. I really liked how they put demos on the game in it. I really miss these days. Next up is a Final Fantasy game, which came out in Japan and America back in 2001, and a game that came out in 2002, a year later in Europe. It's Final Fantasy X. The first Final Fantasy game that has voice acting, and the first Final Fantasy game on the PS2. It includes great voice acting like James Arnold Taylor, the guy who voiced the main character of this game, Tidus, or should I say Tidus. Here's the front, here's the side, here's the back. This game has got an incredible soundtrack, memorable characters like Yuna and Auron, Lulu, Seymour, and Kamari. And here is the instruction manual, and there's the disc, and behind the game disc is a special DVD called Beyond Final Fantasy. It has videos that are all about Final Fantasy games, and it has a sneak peek of the original Kingdom Hearts. And next up is another Final Fantasy game, Final Fantasy XII. This is actually the best Final Fantasy game on the system in my personal opinion. Here's the front, here's the side, here's the back. This game has got a great soundtrack, great graphics, and memorable characters. And this is like a ton of fun. There is a leaflet for the strategy guide. There's a disc. And here's the manual. And at the end of the manual, there was the ad for Kingdom Hearts 2 and Dragon Quest 8. Yeah, I have this game and that game. Yeah, I got this game. Well, now for another game, which is a classic. It's a fighting game that's made by Sega, and this is the first Virtua Fighter game from the PS2 era, and the first Virtua Fighter game that is not on a Sega console. Which 2001-2002 might be the year where Sega goes third party. Virtua Fighter 4. One of the sequels of the classic 3D fighting game Virtua Fighter, one of the first 3D fighting games. Here's the front, here's the side, and there's the back. It has 13 characters, and this is like a ton of fun. There's the manual and the disc. Well, that was it. And a year later, here's the enhanced version of Virtua Fighter 4, Virtua Fighter 4 Evolution. It adds 2 new characters and quest mode. There's the disc itself. And next up is Metal Gear Solid 2, Sons of Liberty, the sequel to the 1998 classic on the PlayStation Metal Gear Solid. A game that gives birth to the enemy alert meme. Here is the front, there's the side, there's the back. There's the disc. And on the back there was a bonus. The making of Metal Gear Solid 2. I really liked how they put DVDs on the back of the game disc. I really miss those days. And on the back of the manual, there is a leaflet about the upcoming games current games that came out on the same year, like Zone of the Enders. And Gradius 3 and 4. Next up, Burnout 2, the sequel to Burnout, and Burnout 3. And the next game in my collection, Grand Theft Auto Vice City Stories. This is the PS2 version of the PSP game Grand Theft Auto Vice City Stories, which is one of my favourite games on the PSP and my favourite Grand Theft Auto game of all time, next to San Andreas and Liberty City Stories. There's the front, the side, and the back. This is actually a bit of the same as the PSP version, but it doesn't have any same features as the PSP version. Well, you know. Yeah, Grand Theft Auto Vice City Stories is a ton of fun. So, speaking of fun, there is another game with fun classic retro games, Capcom Classics Collection, a game that includes some of the classic Capcom games. Here is the front, the side, and the back. This is volume 1 of this collection, of this game. This is volume 1 of the Capcom Classics Collection series. This collection includes 1942, 1943, Bionic Commando, Final Fight, Ghosts and Goblins, Mercs, Legendary Wings, Son, and Street Fighter 2. Here's the disc itself, and here's the manual. On the back of the manual, there is the ad of the games that came out on the same year as the game itself. This includes Resident Evil 4 and Darkstalkers Chronicle. Next up in my collection, Street Fighter the Anniversary Collection. This game includes 2 classic Street Fighter games like Hyper Street Fighter 2, the Anniversary Edition, and Street Fighter 3 Third Strike. And this has a bonus feature on this disc. Street Fighter 2, the animated movie. Wow. First of all, it's so special that the Street Fighter 2 movie was in that game. Even Dragon Ball Raging Blast 2 has a Dragon Ball Z movie in it as a bonus feature. I really liked it how they put episodes or movies or videos or retro arcade games on a disc as a bonus feature. Ah, the memories. Next up, Mega Man X8. The final game of the Mega Man X series. There's the front, there's the side, there's the back. Well, I played Mega Man X1 and 2 on my Wii U Virtual Console and on my Time Machine console and other retro gaming consoles, such as the RetroPie and the Super Console X. There's the disc and the instruction manual. This game was a breath of fresh air after Mega Man X7. Next up, Deus Ex. There's the front, side, and the back. This was released in 2002. There's the disc and the instruction manual, and on the back there's also a catalogue with games that came out in the same year, like Thunderhawk, Time Splitters 2, Soul Raver 2, and second edition of Who Wants to Be a Millionaire? The game based on the game show of the same name, starring Chris Tarrant. I never know Chris Tarrant was in the game. I was talking about the Who Wants to Be a Millionaire game, but not the DS. Well, here's another game. Pac-Man World 2, the sequel to the Pac-Man World game. There's the front, there's the side, there's the back. There is the disc and the instruction manual. This game was released in 2002, which is the same year as Tekken 4. Next up, Prince of Persia, The Sands of Time. There's the front, side, the back. This is a reboot or a game of the Prince of Persia franchise. This game was released in 2003, the same year as Dragon Ball Z Budokai 2 and Legend of Zelda The Wind Waker. Here's the disc. Oh, there was a memory card. And there's the instruction manual. And next up is a brilliant game that is made by Square Enix, and this was the first Dragon Quest game I have in my collection, and the first Dragon Quest game to be released in Europe. Dragon Quest VIII, The Journey of the Cursed King. This is actually a brilliant game. It has memorable characters, an outstanding soundtrack, and graphics. There's the front, the side, and the back. Enter the incredible world of Dragon Quest. Marvel as the distinctive character designs of Akira Toriyama, the creator of Dragon Ball. Wow. Akira Toriyama done a great job doing character designs on the Dragon Quest games. Here's the disc itself and the instruction manual. And here is the ad for Kingdom Hearts 2. This was released in 2004 in Japan, 2005 in America, and it came out in 2006 in Europe, making Dragon Quest VIII Europe's first Dragon Quest game that will be released. Rest in peace, Akira Toriyama. Next up in my collection, Summoner 2, made by THQ. There's a front side. Here is the disc and the instruction manual. There's the ad for Red Faction 2 on the back. But last but not least, Return to Castle Wolfenstein, Operation Resurrection. This is the game from the Wolfenstein franchise. You may remember Wolfenstein 3D on the PC. You know, one of the most memorable FPS games of all time. Here's the front, here's the side, there's the back. The disc, and there's the instruction manual. So that was my PlayStation 2 games collection. So, anyways, I hope you enjoy my collection, and we will see you next time for more game collections, more plush adventure videos, and other fun stuff. See you next time.